Hello? Ooh, sorry. Just a quick announcement before we get started. As I have written up here, if you are in section 1 through 8, you are in the right place. Congratulations. Woo! Yes. If you are in Business English section 9 or 10, please stand up and go to Auditorio Price. If you are in sections 11 or 12, you need to get up and you need to go to H004. We good? Okay. One moment then, we'll get started. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Answer for questions afterwards. Good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me well? Oh, you don't sound very alive. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. That's better. My name is Kaya, and I am the International Student Coordinator here at FEN, and I am also the coordinator for the Business English Seminars. Welcome to the first Business English Seminar of the semester. Yay! Yes. Exactly, that's what I want to hear. As you know, can I have quiet, please? As you know, this is part of the Business English course. It is a required part of your studies. You will get a grade for this, so you must come. So before I start my presentation, I just want to go over a few house rules. So, the seminar begins at 15:10. How do I make this go away? Ideas? Okay, there we go. So, attention please. Thank you, people. So, the seminar starts at 3:10. Today is the first one. It's been kind of crazy, so we all understand. But for future seminars, you have to arrive before, preferably before 3:10, but otherwise before 3:20. Those doors will be locked at 3:20. You will not be able to get in. You all are business students. You must know already that meetings, business meetings, and business conferences start at a certain time. So let's learn to respect them. So please come on time. You will not be able to get in otherwise. Room assignments for each seminar will be posted in Docencia Web a few days beforehand. So you noticed how there's 3 different places where we're having the seminar? There's here. We're here, obviously. There's people in Price Auditorium. Hi, guys. And then there's people in H004. Hi, guys. Because they're watching this presentation from those 2 locations. There are so many of you this semester that you will all get a chance to sit in each of these beautiful places during the 8 seminars that will happen. So it is really important that 1, you know your seminar section, you know your English course section, and 2, that you look at Docencia Web before the seminar begins to ensure that you know where you need to go. The important reason is because at the end of each seminar there will be a quiz. And the quizzes for each section will be put together. And if you're not in the right auditorium, you will not get your quiz graded, and you will not get a grade for that seminar. So you need to make sure you're in the right spot. Everyone is in the right spot? Cool. Show respect to guest presenters by paying attention and not distracting others, especially because this is being transmitted between different auditoriums, and people are watching this live and some people are watching it from different places. We really need to respect each other and the presenter. I'm presenting today and I work here at FEN, but I'm going to invite speakers that have taken time out of their busy jobs from their companies, from their political lives to come and speak to you. So I need you to show respect and listen to them and try and stay alive, okay? Electronic devices are not allowed during the seminar. This means no cell phones, no computers, and no tablets. Sorry, but they can be really distracting. Just pen, paper, and pencil. Notes taken during the presentation are personal and cannot be shared between students. That means that anything that you write on your paper cannot be shared with your friend next to you. So you're welcome to use your notes at the end for the quiz, but you can only use your notes, so no wandering eyes. Keep your eyes to your own paper. You will receive 2 warnings to be quiet and respectful during the presentation, and if you continue to disturb others, you will be asked to leave the room and will receive a 1 as your grade for that seminar. Again, there's 400 and something of you all. That's a really big number of people. And your actions will affect the others of people around you. You might be really good at English, you might understand everything, but that might not be so for the person next to you. So please respect others and please be professional about this. Otherwise, we will kick you out. Sorry. If you are caught cheating, this means copying off someone's paper, their answers, their notes, or not keeping your eyes to your own paper, you will receive a 1 for all 8 seminars. This includes any past seminars. So let's say today is seminar 7, and you were caught cheating. You will receive a 1 for all of the past seminars and the future seminar. Don't cheat, guys. You are all here because you're really smart. So just don't cheat, okay? It's not cool. No sleeping. I know, you're students. I know you're tired. I'm tired. We're all tired, but we're all here. Don't sleep. We can see you. The presenter can see you. And yes, if you're in the auditorium, Price Auditorium or in H004, the others can see you as well, and it's not respectful. Let's maintain the professional atmosphere and practice being professional adults, okay? If you are unable to attend a seminar due to medical reasons, please abide by the FEN regulations and procedures and email your TA explaining your absence as soon as possible. Again, only absences that are excused are medical reasons. Follow the standard procedures for getting your absence excused and report to your TA. If you have followed the procedures, we will give you an alternative assignment but only if you follow the rules and do the right procedures. So please take note of that. At the end of each seminar, you will have 30 minutes to answer the questions regarding the guest's presentation. Put your finished quiz on the front desk or in your section's bag. There'll be bags here at the front of each of the rooms and auditoriums. And you may leave quietly after you finish your quiz. So once you finish, please be respectful of other people that are finishing their quizzes. Put your quiz in the right section bag, the correct one, and then you may go. As I mentioned, there are 8 seminars during the semester. Your worst grade out of those 8 grades will be taken off. So only 7 grades will be combined to give you your grade for the final grade for the seminar. So that means, yes, you could miss one seminar, or you could do really poorly on one seminar, but only one. We good? Questions? Cool. Now the fun starts. So, today we are going to talk about something a little interesting, in my opinion. Is English or Mandarin the language of the future? What do you guys think? English, maybe? Why are we here, besides the fact that this is required? Why am I speaking in English? Why am I not speaking in Mandarin, for example? Well, we're going to look at that today. China is a really big country, right? You've all heard of China, right? I hope. Yes? No? Maybe? Well, there's 4 main reasons why China could be the leading language of the future, right? In China they speak Mandarin, words. So the 4 main reasons are the meteoric economic growth that China has had over the past very few years, the unprecedented business opportunities that exist in China, and the fact that Mandarin is the most spoken language in the world, also in part thanks to the language promotion efforts that have been done by the Chinese government. So we'll first start with China's staggering rapid economic growth. You've all heard of China, right? How many people have something made in China on them now? Right? Most of you have something, right? Almost everything is made in China, but not always. China has been really important in the history of trade, but it's only recently that they've become this giant economic power. Their average growth rate per capita in GDP has been over 7.1% since 1980. 7.1%. That's a lot in a very short amount of time. They're the world's 2nd largest economy by nominal GDP and by purchasing power parity, after the US. And also they're the largest exporter of goods and 2nd largest importer of goods in the world. As I said, as you all admitted, we all have something that's made in China. It's kind of a big deal. So this means that China's economy kind of matters in the world scheme of things, right? As you can see here, this graph starts in 1952, and then it gradually increased, right? Like countries often do. And then what happened here? There was this skyrocket. And now it's at a really big number in 2005, and even bigger now, right? So this country has gone through an amazing transformation in a really small amount of time. The second reason that Chinese and Mandarin could be a good contender to be the future language are the business opportunities and trade that China offers. External trade with China exceeded $3.6 trillion in 2012. That's a lot. $1 trillion we're talking about here. That is a really big number. And in 2012, China accounted for 10% of the world trade. The world's pretty big. 10% is a pretty big number. They are also the largest creditor nation on the planet. Remember the economic downfall that most of the world went through? Who bought all their debt? Anyone remember? It was China. China bought a lot of their debt. They are the biggest creditor nation on the planet. And almost all global corporations have a presence in China. So most of the big companies that you know of and want to work for someday, they have offices in China. Pretty good reason to learn Mandarin, right? Unsurprisingly, Mandarin is the most spoken language in the world. As you can see here, 1.1 billion people speak Mandarin Chinese or some dialect of Mandarin. Where's English? 330 million. Where's Spanish? Only 300 million. Sorry, guys. Spanish is also a wonderful, beautiful language, which is why I love speaking it. But Mandarin still tops. And then come Arabic, Russian, Japanese, French. But there's still a lot of people that speak Mandarin. So why is Mandarin not the future language? Efforts to promote Mandarin have also been really successful. This is a really interesting thing that China has done. China has decided that they want the world to speak Mandarin. And so they have created what are called Confucius Institutes. You may have heard of them. All around the world. I'm serious. All around the world. See this picture here? These kids are in Nairobi, Kenya, and they're learning to make dumplings. In Nairobi, Kenya, there's a Confucius Institute, and they teach Mandarin and Chinese culture. That's pretty impressive. It's like Chile saying, I want the world to speak Chilean Spanish. Tipo, ¿por qué no? And Chile will have Chilean cultural institutes all over the world, and everyone will learn to say yapo. ¿Cachai? That's pretty impressive if you think about it, right? They also, through these institutes, they have teaching programs where 50 million people were learning Mandarin in 2012 outside of China. So China's a big country, right? But think about how many people 50 million means. 50 million is is a really big number of people too. So China's population plus 50 million other people, that's kind of a lot of people speaking Mandarin today. Also, most Western governments promote Mandarin through ambitious national programs. I am from Portland, Oregon, in the US. And in my city, there is an elementary school where half the day they learn in English and half the day they learn in Mandarin. In my city, in the US. That's pretty crazy, right? I bet you there's schools here that teach Mandarin. I know for sure. That's kind of crazy. Again, let's imagine if this were Chile instead of China speaking, and Chile had an elementary school in the US where half the day was taught in Chilean Spanish and half the day was taught in English. That's pretty crazy, right? Pretty amazing. So it's kind of a big deal. It's a really unique thing that China has done. However, yes, China's population is ginormous. They're economically really important. They've done all this amazing promotional efforts to get people to speak Chinese and outside of China. Why aren't we speaking Mandarin right now? Some of you may speak Mandarin. That's really cool. But why are the majority of us not speaking Mandarin right now? Anyone have any ideas? Has anyone tried to speak Mandarin? No? Yes? Mandarin is incredibly, devilishly, heartbreakingly, frustratingly, impossibly difficult. Just saying. I can give you some examples. Forgive me, those that speak Mandarin. 数学 means mathematics. 数学 means blood transfusion. 国酱 means you flatter me, and 国酱 means fruit paste. I might have gotten them backwards, I'm not sure. The point is, you could either really flatter someone or really insult them really, really easily. There's words that have multiple meanings. I mean, there could be 书学, which means something else. But the point is that it's a tonal language. So that means any difference in your tone of voice is a different word. Can you imagine that? It's like saying kachay, kachay, kachay. Kachay? I mean, yes, we do have some of that too, right? You understand if someone says kachay and kachay, that's a little different connotations, but this is completely different words. It's a little difficult to learn Mandarin. Other reasons why we are not learning Mandarin. Yes, there are promotion efforts to teach Mandarin outside of China, but they don't have that many native Mandarin teachers that are at those teaching institutes. So it's kind of hard to learn a tonal language if you don't have someone who actually speaks the language to learn it from. Also, anyone know how many regions or provinces are in China? Any idea? Those are like the states within China, the regiones within China. Anyone want to shout out a number? How many? No? There's 22. And each province has its own dialect of Mandarin. And within each province, there might be other dialects of Mandarin. In short, there might be hundreds of dialects of Mandarin. And as you might know, a dialect can include different words. So it might just be pronunciation, but also might be completely different words for things. So kind of like the different Spanishes within Latin America, right? You know, a guagua is a baby, or it's a bus, depending on what country you're in Latin America, things like that. Kind of difficult. Like, how would you decide which Mandarin you're going to choose then? Also, there's this one little detail. The Chinese are learning English. So yes, Mandarin could be the future language, but if the Chinese are already learning English, then that's kind of helpful, right? How many people do you think are learning English currently in the world? A few? 10? No, probably not 10. A little more than 10. How about out of the world population of 6.7 billion, this is 2010, 2 billion were learning English. 2 billion of 6.7 billion people in the world. That's kind of a lot of people. That's more than those that are learning Mandarin, right? Speaking Mandarin. And who do you think, which country has the most English speakers? What? I don't hear you. China, you guessed it. It's China. So we can skip insulting or making nice statements to people and just speak in English, because the Chinese are also learning English. These are the top 10 languages in the internet in 2010, in millions of users. And what's the top one? English. How many of you have used a website today that had parts of it in English? Need we say more? Most of the internet is written in English, right? What comes after English? Chinese. How many people have gone to a website where part of it was written in Chinese today? A few? Okay, that's good. Well, you used the other percentage of the internet. After that comes Spanish, then Japanese, Portuguese, German, Arabic, French, etc. But basically, the most important thing to note is that English, the majority of the internet and the websites are written in English. So English dominates the internet, right? We just looked at that. English is also the language of travel, right? It's the language of business, music, education, globalization, science. If you are a scientist or a doctor, most of the papers you're going to be reading will be in English. It's everywhere. But why? Why is English everywhere? Okay, we've learned that yes, there's kind of a lot of people who speak it, and for some reason everyone's learning it. But why? Did we just put the languages in a bowl and, oh, look, we'll learn English? Is that how it worked? No, not so much. That would have been interesting, though. Well, it all started with a little bit of history, right? Has anyone heard of the UK? The Brits, the Redcoats, England, in all of its words and fashions? So, British industrialization began in the 1800s, and with industrialization, which meant, the machines and making processes much easier for people, meant that they also exported the language, right? Because the manuals were all written in English. So with this new knowledge comes a new language, and it spreads to different countries throughout Europe, and you get more and more people that are speaking in English. Then there's the British Empire and the expansion of the British Empire. And that, of course, was a forceful insertion of English, right? So that's where you have the British India, Australia became under British sovereignty. The US was under British sovereignty for a while, as you might know. It was the empire. So what did they use? What language did they insist everyone speak? English, their own. Kind of a definition of an empire, right? Then we have the World War victories. So World War I, England and UK were quite elementary and quite important in bringing the end to World War I and in ensuring there was peace and in assigning people to help, or different countries, to help these countries that were most devastated by the war to recuperate, right? And then for World War II, the US came into play. And the US started becoming a leading player on the world stage, political stage, right? So then the US became the one that made sure that the losing sides actually did the things they were supposed to, right? Is this making a little bit of sense? Remember this a little bit from the textbooks-ish? So then we get to today, which is pop culture, right? How many people have your favorite song in English? My favorite song is in English. Is yours? No? Okay. Most of you raised your hands. How many people like watching a TV show that is in English? How many people have shirts that are in English, written in English? How many people have read books in English? Magazines? Pop culture, a lot of pop culture, at least here in Chile, is in English. Since the 1950s, actually. So you can go to most any country in the world and you will probably hear songs in English on the radio. And yes, they will know of Britney Spears, and they will know of Bob Marley, and they will know of all these famous people that are English speakers. The Beatles. They're names that are global. And why? Because we heard their songs in English. So where is English going to go in the future? There's a really interesting thing that's happening. It's called, a family of English derivations is emerging, and they're called the Englishes. And the phenomenon is kind of similar to, again, the differences between Spanish and Latin America. So you have the Españoles, right? You have the Chilenos, and then you have the Peruvians and Colombians, and everyone has a little bit different English, or Spanish, right? Spanish, right? You have different words that mean bus. You have different words that mean, lots of things, right? They're just slightly different languages. And you can tell by the accent, the way they speak, the rapidness or slowness with the way they speak of where they're from, right? So if I were to speak in Spanish right now, you'd be able to tell that mi español es terrible chilena, ¿cachai? Right? So they're finding the same thing with Englishes. they're noticing that American English, for example, is different than British English. Who learned British English in elementary school? En colegio. Who learned American English in colegio? Who calls pantalones pants? Who calls pantalones trousers? Same thing, two different words. Cookies, biscuits, pants, trousers. I argue with my boss all the time, and she's like, no, they're trousers. No, they're pants. Trousers, pants. You could argue all day. It's the same idea. Different countries speak different Englishes, and this is a really cool map to show it. So you have here the East Asian Standardized English, American Standardized English, Canadian, Caribbean, African, and basically, as you can see here with the American Standardized English, so there's the network standard, which is like what they speak on the television. There's Northern U.S., Midland U.S., Southern U.S., Black English vernacular. There's all these different versions of English that change slightly. And now they're finally mapping that out. Also, there's this other really cool phenomenon that's happening, and it's called Globish. You can go to this website, globish.com, and this French guy has created this new language of English, this new version of English. It only has 1,500 words and is basically an easier English. Why did he create this? Why would this be useful? What language is business in around the world? English. What's easier to understand? The evening was so beautifully lavish and everything was scrumptious. Or the evening was beautiful, the food was good. The second one, right? So what Globish does is it takes these words that mean the same thing and they take the simpler version of it. Because in business, you only need the simpler version, right? This French businessman noticed at his business meetings that those English speakers that were non-native speakers actually finished business deals faster than those that were native speakers. And all because they were able to get to the point a lot faster. And yes, some of this is cultural. In some countries, you are supposed to talk about everything but business for the first half an hour before you get to business. But if you're an English speaker and you're trying to just learn the language to be able to communicate basic things, learning all these extra words that may or may not be used can be really hard. So if you have a basic set of simple words, then you can quickly become on the level to do basic communication and get your deal in business done quickly. Right? Make sense? Yeah. So, okay, we've seen that, yeah, it's probably easier and more logical to learn English than Mandarin. And the reason we're learning English is kind of because of history, right? And pop culture. But why learn a language at all? Well, language is culture. Language is the essence of culture. Without language, we would not be humans. We would not be able to communicate with each other. Even animals communicate with each other. And for us, humans, language is the way we do that. So language is the key to all cultures. When you're learning a language, you don't learn just words, right? Because you can translate something word for word, and it won't make any sense in your native language, right? Because you can't just directly translate something. You have to translate it contextually. You learn about the norms, social norms of a culture. You learn about the beliefs, the religions, the dresses they wear or don't wear, depending on the culture. Without those elements, you can't know how to use the language, right? For example, in the US, how do we greet people? Right? No closer than here. Like, no, that's my space. You shake hands, firmly. How do you greet people in Chile? No, that's France. Just one, right? But the French people, they come here and they try to do it on both sides. The Americans are like, what? Why are you kissing me? Right? So when you learn a language, the first thing you learn is how to say hello. Hola, me llamo Kaya. Right? That was the first thing I learned how to say. What was the first thing you learned how to say probably? Hello, my name is, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Right? We all know the drill. So what did you learn from those 3 sentences? You learned social norms, and you learned customs. So what I'm trying to say is that language is the key to a culture. And it's also fun, because as we talked about, there's pop culture, right, which are movies, YouTube videos, songs, games, styles, fashion, sports, you name it, right? When you're learning a language, you see all of that. And in fact, when you watch TV in English, you're practicing your English, so congratulations, right? So learning a language can be fun too. Okay, yeah, but why should I learn English? Because I live in Chile, and español es lo más bacán del mundo, ¿no? Well, this is an article that came out in El Mercurio a while back. And as you can see, executives that speak English have 30% higher income than those that do not speak English. Maybe you don't want to take the fun reasons for learning a language, but you can't mess with math. As it says here, knowing English increases by 44% your ability to find a job. I am not kidding, guys. I have a friend, a Chilean friend. He just graduated from law school. He just got a job with his dream company, a really big company here in Chile. And why did he get it? There's like 100 different applicants. Why do you think? English. He speaks English and quite well. That is the one reason he was able to distinguish himself from the rest. Also, more than 75% of the higher directive positions in a company require a second language. So this means that if you want to be the CEO or the president of your company, you're going to need another language. And English will probably be the most useful one, right? Not having a high level of English closes doors to certain positions that have lots of responsibility. So by not learning English, you are saying no thank you to all those really awesome, amazing, well-paid jobs that you wanted, right? So English is mathematically a very good thing to learn. Also, Chile is a popular destination. How many of you have seen tourists here in Santiago lately? You know, with their short shorts and their terrible sunburns and their giant cameras and their maps. You've seen a lot of them lately, right? Chile is ranked as one of the top destinations to do business and to be a student, to be a tourist, and to be an immigrant. Chile is a very economically and politically stable country, and people are noticing. Chilean wine is well known. Los mineros are well known. But basically, Chile is on the map. And for the size of the country that Chile is, that's really impressive. So you might have noticed that there's a lot of foreigners around here. And as you can see here, these are the business environment rankings, and Chile is right there in the top 20. Top 20 in the world. That's impressive. Congratulations, Chile. Like, seriously, guys, that's awesome. So how are we going to practice? How can you improve your English? There's one secret. All you have to do is talk. And I promise you, you will get better. And you know what? No one really cares if you make mistakes. Because I make mistakes all the time in both Spanish and English. In fact, I just made a mistake. I don't know if you caught that. But the point is, if you're able to make some kind of language come out of your mouth, people will understand, and they'll try and understand, and you will be understood. So just say it. It doesn't matter if it's not proper grammar. It doesn't matter if you don't have the entire word. It doesn't matter if you can't remember the word. Use the words you have and, say this thing. Just communicate, because the more you communicate, the better you'll get. I promise you. That's the way I learned Spanish. Obviously, this was out of order. Anyway, other tips to improving your English. Have confidence, guys. You can do this. Just talk. Just speak. Just practice. Get out there. Has anyone heard of the power pose? No? Yay! A few people. I'm going to tell you about this really amazing, scientifically proven to be effective thing. There was a scientist, and she conducted a study where she asked two groups of people, Group A and Group B, to take or a power pose for 2 minutes, whatever, or a power of weakness for 2 minutes, and then they interviewed them. Who do you think did better in the interviews? Group A or Group B? Group A did phenomenally, and Group B not so much. The way you pose your body language affects the way you think about yourself and the way you act. So if you, for 2 minutes, act confidently, your body is going to think, oh, I'm confident. And you will be more confident, and you will do much better. Slight warning, this does not replace studying. If you don't know what you're supposed to be talking about, it will not give you the answers. But it will give you the courage and the tranquility to be able to remember the answers. So study still, but then do the power pose for 2 minutes. How many minutes? What pose? Good job. If you Google TED Talks power pose, there's a wonderful video about it that I highly recommend. Also, have you ever heard of fake it till you make it? Who's heard that before? Fake it till you make it? What does that mean? Pretend, try until you actually do it. You may not think you can, but your body is amazingly talented and will make things work, and you will be able to have the confidence and say the things you need to if you just try. It's all it takes. I know it sounds crazy, but promise. I promise it will work. Make mistakes. I know I've said it a lot, but I make mistakes all the time in both English and Spanish, and no one has killed me yet. So I promise, if you make mistakes, it's okay. No one will kill you for it. I promise. The more you practice again, the better you'll get. People just want to get to know you, right? You go to another country and you see people and they're not used to having Chileans there. And they are just going to want to talk to you. They're going to want to, one, know where Chile is, because I'm sorry, not everyone knows where Chile is. And two, they're going to want to know your name, your culture. What do you eat in Chile? In the U.S., people think that Chileans eat spicy food. Sorry. So you'll have to tell them that, no, you do not eat that much spicy food. Just merquen de repente, right? But they're going to want to know about these things. And they won't care if you say it correctly. They just want to know. They want that knowledge, and you have that knowledge, and only you can provide it to them by talking. So just say it. And how many of you have tried speaking to a tourist in Santiago? Oh, good, some of you. How did that go? Were they really excited to hear your English? You speak English, thank goodness. Oh my gosh. Can you please help me where to go? I'm so lost. Right? That happened to you yesterday. If you go to another country, I promise you, if you haven't already, you will have the same thing happen. Ah, tú hablas español, qué bueno, oye, no sé dónde ir. Right? Help! Person who speaks same language, you saved me. I promise you, it will work. It's great. If you want to have an immediate friend, go help someone in a foreign language that's lost. It'll work. What opportunities are there here at FEN? Okay, we're here in Chile. We're at a Chilean university. There can't be that much, right? Well, we actually have a lot of opportunities. Has anyone seen any international students lately? Awesome, good, I like that confidence. There are 135 international students in some of your classes, at least here at FEN, wandering around, some of them lost, hopefully most of them not lost. But they want to meet you. They want to know what it is like to be a Chilean student. And who can tell them that? You all can, because you're Chilean students. So talk to them. They're timid. They just arrived about 3 weeks ago. They're still stressed. They're still trying to find their room numbers. They're still trying to figure out where to buy things, how you say things, understand Spanish. So you can help them by saying, hi, my name is, and you put in your name, obviously. And you can just say anything, really. They're going to be so happy to have a Chilean friend. I promise you that they probably, at this point, can show on one hand how many Chilean friends they have. Maybe 5, if they're really cool. But the point is, they want more. So please talk to them, help them, invite them to places, and also practice your English with them. One of those ways is the FEN Buddy program. Each semester, we send out a convocatorio, an email from Nexo Internacional that says, Convocatorio FEN Buddy. Sign up to have an international student assigned to you based on your hobbies. So you will fill out an online application with the things that you like to do in your free time, and then we'll match you up with an exchange student that has similar hobbies. And then you can do activities with them throughout the semester. I'll plan some events, but you also can plan events and take them places and basically just help them be their special friend and help them understand what it's like to be a Chilean student. Also, who's heard of Let's Chat? No one? I have. Let's Chat. Let's Chat is a wonderful program we just started last year. And I have up to 10 international students who have their lunches in the Hall Deportivo. Who knows where the Hall Deportivo is? Come on, guys. You should all raise your hands by now. Hall Deportivo. It's that house that has the rock wall on it, right? That's the Hall Deportivo. And every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m., there will be international students there eating their lunch, wanting to talk with you in English. So bring your lunch and practice with them. Every single Wednesday, minus the term tests, they'll be there. So use that opportunity. Also, the International Fair will be April 15th. During the International Fair, I ask all of the international students to represent their countries with stands, and they have food that they made from their countries, and they have free things, and they have interesting knowledge, and you'll be able to see what country they're from, and ask them questions, and get to know them, and have fun. And you should basically all go. So mark your calendars for April 15th. I also organize different events like the Chilean Film Nights. This past Monday, I showed the students Machuca. I'm going to show them the película No Subterra, Chacotero Sentimental. Yes, I will. But it would be great to have Chilean students there as well. I usually send out an email. Yes, it's one of those mail masivos that you receive. But you are welcome to come. It would be great to have you there. At the end of each movie, I have a little explanation of what they saw, what the movie means, as sometimes it's not always clear, and what Chilean words might have been really useful to know. So it would be great to have your input because I'm not Chilean. I have been here for a long time, but I always really appreciate any other insight you can help give these students about Chilean culture. You should also friend us, Nexo Internacional on Facebook, and ISAFEN, which is the International Student Association of FEN. These two Facebooks will post the different events that we have on, so friend us and go to the events. And then another thing you can do, of course, is study and travel abroad. Who heard about study abroad in a charla recently? There should be a lot of you Michones raising your hand right now. Excellent. Plan your study abroad if you haven't started thinking about it already. Go take summer English in a foreign country, you know? Think about it. Go. Do it. You can do it. Because English is really useful, right? Thank you, everyone. Does anyone have any questions? No? If you ever do have any questions or would like to come to an event or get to know international students, my office, last announcements. Very good. My office is located in Zeta, Building Z, on the second floor in Nexo Internacional. So you're always welcome to say hi to me in the hallway or come see me in person. You will have until 4:40 to answer the 2 questions on these test papers. Remember, eyes to your own papers. We will take your test away. You will get a 1 if you do not do so. Thank you very much. ¿Secciones? Le voy a poner. Yes. Sí, eso estoy haciendo. Ah, está bien. Ah, ¿no? Hello, can you all hear me? 2 quick announcements. Please use pen, not pencil. And also, you may use your notes to answer the questions, but only your notes, not your neighbor's notes. Not your neighbor's notes, your own notes, yes. A pen? You don't have a pencil today? Does anyone have any extra pens they can lend out, please? And I'm putting up the sections.
내가 가면 서울 버스가 그렇게